So yeah, we're at the end of season 5, final race weekend, and it's a tradition in Formula E that the final race weekend in Formula E always has 2 races. So that means that in all previous seasons we had the situation that the championship in both competitions, both teams and drivers' championship were open, were not decided before the final weekend, and it's the same situation we have this year. So in the drivers' championship we have still 8 drivers who can win this championship, including Lucas on 2nd position in the championship and also Daniel on 8th position in the championship. But just to give you an example, Daniel is only like 17 points behind Lucas with some more than 100 points, so it's still very close. We got 2 races, so we got in total 56 points to give away on both days. We got 25 points for a victory, and we got 3 points for pole position and 1 point for the fastest race lap. So it's still all on the table, both in teams and in drivers' championship. Our team has been part of Formula E from the very first season on. We were kind of a founding member of Formula E, and we are the only team with Lucas and Daniel who has the same driver pairing for all the 5 years. No other teams has had the same drivers, the same 2 drivers in all seasons. And just yesterday we confirmed that we will go into season 6 also with the same driver pairing. So that means 6 seasons, 6 years. It's one of the longest relationships actually between a team and 2 drivers in motorsport history. There's never been such a long period of time with the same drivers. Why this decision? It's because we are more than happy with our 2 drivers. In all previous seasons of Formula E, we came to the final race weekend and we're fighting for the championship. The team is the reigning team champion. Lucas was champion in season 3. He never finished a season worse than a 3rd place. So 3rd place was his worst position in a championship final standings. So full trust on the 2 guys, and also full trust that they're gonna beat these neighbors next to us, the French people, the Tichita team, with the DS as a manufacturer behind. Jean-Eric Verne is the reigning champion, and they are leading both drivers and team championship. And we are in the role of the challenger this weekend to try to make up as many points as possible and give them a hard fight. We expect one of the hottest races this season so far. We had the hottest race in Santiago de Chile earlier this year. We had 38 degrees Celsius during race day, but it was not that humid. So this is extreme tough conditions. But it turns out that whenever it's got hot and it's got humid, our cars perform pretty well. So this is what we learned in the previous races. We've always been good when it was hot. We've always been medium when it was a little cold. So this is why we have full confidence in the technology and whatever. If we would have met last year, there would have been 4 cars in the garage. Because as you may know, in the previous 4 seasons, every race driver had 2 cars in Formula E. Reason was simple. We had the same issue with you and your iPhone. The battery is empty, much too fast. So the battery in the previous season lasted for like 20 minutes or something. So what happened? The driver did 20 minutes, came in, jumped out of the car, jumped into the other car, and then went back out again. This season is the first season where we have only 1 race car per driver. And this also shows the development of the technology and how fast the development of the technology goes in Formula E. So we have more power in the car, we are faster, we have a race distance which is the same as in the previous years, but we only have one race car with the same size of the battery. But it doubled the capacity within only 4 years, which is one of the reasons why Formula E is so popular with manufacturers. In next season, season 6, we will have 10 manufacturers competing in Formula E. It's a unique story in motorsport. You never had such an amount of manufacturers in any other racing category. And why all manufacturers love Formula E is because Formula E is the most relevant racing category on the world. So if you compare Formula E to Formula 1, in Formula 1, the regulations are much more open. So in Formula 1, you can develop the whole car. You can develop the motor, you can develop all the aerodynamic and whatever. This leads to the fact that a proper season in Formula 1 costs about 300 million euros. Is that really state of the art at this time? And the problem is in Formula One, most of the development is not road relevant. For example, aerodynamics. A day in a wind tunnel costs 30,000 euros. And you develop like a front wing with a lot of wings and whatever, and spend a huge amount of money, but it's not relevant for road cars because you never have a Audi A6 with a front wing with 35 flaps. And this is why Formula E has a complete different concept. They only opened a very small part of the car for own development. So 90% of the car is the same spec as you will see all through pit lane. All the aerodynamics, the tires, the brakes, all the bodywork, all the chassis, all the battery, all the stuff around. The only part we as a manufacturer are allowed to develop is the powertrain. So it's the motor, it's the gearbox, it's the inverter, it's the software, and it's some parts of the suspension, depending on your concept. And this is the part which is also very relevant for road cars, because you learn a lot about efficiency, you learn a lot about software, you learn a lot about temperature, handling, and whatever. So these are all things that are very relevant for road cars. And this is why Formula E is so attractive for manufacturers, because they can transfer the technology directly from the racetrack to road cars. And this goes especially for Audi, because as you may know, the motorsport department at Audi is directly connected to the technical development department. It's one floor and another floor. So whenever these guys come back from a racetrack on a Monday, they have the direct exchange with their colleagues who are working on road cars. So we as customers from Audi can benefit directly from the experience the guys gain on the racetrack, which is a very important fact. And due to the fact that you have a very limited part which you can develop, the costs are pretty low. So for a proper Formula E season, if you want to compete for the championship, you need to spend, let's say, roughly 25 million euros. If you compare it to 300 million euros in Formula One, what you get out of it as a manufacturer and as a customer, I think it proves very, very straight how efficient Formula E is in that topic. As you can see, road car this year, Formula E car this year looks very spectacular. We don't have a rear wing. We just have a big diffuser at the back who creates all the downforce. In the previous seasons, we had Formula cars which look a little bit similar to, let's say, normal Formula cars. This year, Formula E did a radical development, and this is now, whenever you see this car, you know directly it's a Formula E car. It's a Formula E electric car. Apart from the fact that we are driving with battery power, it's a normal race car. You have all the possibilities to adjust the car. You can change the ride height, you can change the wing positions, feathers, dampers, ride height, as I said before, whatever. So you have the normal possibilities to adjust the race car to the circuit. This is what we start with today at 3:30, so in half an hour. We have what we call a shakedown. It's just half an hour going out of the garage with the cars, do 6 laps per drivers. It's more or less a function test, so you just check if the mechanics did a good job in putting the car together, because these cars, they came directly from the last race we had in Switzerland 3 weeks ago. So they were packed on the day after the race, brought directly here to New York, and the guys were only the day before yesterday, they were allowed to open the cases again and rebuild the car. So today is just a quick test, and then tomorrow, which is also very unique in motorsport, we have a full day of race action. We start very early tomorrow morning. I think 7:30 is the first free practice. So I expect you all to be on site. Yeah, if you want to really get into Formula E, you need to be here, 7:30, sharp. No, joking. 7:30 first free practice. I think 10 o'clock is the second free practice. Then we have 11:45 the qualifying, and at 4 o'clock it's race day. Race time. 45-minute race, no pit stop, pure racing. Lots of energy management. You have to watch your battery level, you have to watch the temperatures. Battery temperature rises, you have to take care of this. So it's a lot about strategy, it's a lot about racing with your brain and not only with your throttle and your brake. Very demanding racing category. And as you can imagine, very demanding for both drivers and mechanics. I mean, the drivers have no time to rest tomorrow on a race day. Again, if you think about Formula One, you have a free practice sometimes already on Thursday, on Friday, you have a qualifying on Saturday. if you screw up the qualifying, you go to the hotel, you have some pasta, you speak with your girlfriend, you watch some television, you have a sleep, you wake up, it's a new day. It's nothing of this we have in Formula E. If you screw up your qualifying, you got 1.5 hours to get your mind back on track and then deliver a proper race. That makes Formula E so unique and special. Now, what I just wanted to add is also for the mechanics, quite demanding, because track limits in Formula E is not gravel pads or tarmac or whatever, it's just a wall. So smallest mistake of the driver means car crashes, means a lot of work for the mechanics. So they have a very, very tough day ahead tomorrow. And as I said before, very unique situation at the season finale. We have a double header, what we call a double header. So we have, I don't know if you know the movie Groundhog Day, that's what we're gonna have here. So when we wake up Sunday morning, it's gonna be exactly the same. Free practice, qualifying, and another race. And then hopefully, with the margin and points we have, we take the championship to the Sunday's race, and then it's all on the table at the final race. It's been the same story in the previous 4 years, and we hope we keep the championship open until Sunday.